Nicknamed the Sunset City, Nizhny Novgorod lies on the banks of the River Volga and the Akar, 650 kilometers east of Moscow. With a population of 1.2 million, this city has somehow managed to miss the larger tourist routes. I'm your mate Matt, and today I'm exploring Nizhny Novgorod to see and discover if this is a hidden gem in the heart of Mother Russia.
Good morning guys, and welcome to Nizhny Novgorod. Nizhny Novgorod is Russia's 6th largest city, and we are currently now on Walking Street, which is like a big city centre street that cuts right through the heart of the northern part. We're going to come back to that little detail later, the northern part of the city. Ksenia, do you know the name of this road?
This is Большая Покровская.
Большая Покровskaya. Да?
No.
Say it again.
Большая Покровская.
Большая Покровskaya.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
The famous shop where you can buy the Russian, what's the word? It's like you cover it to your body when you're cold.
Like a jacket?
No, it's not a
Like
jacket.
like a shawl?
I will show you. It's like a wool.
Oh, or not.
I'm not gonna show you, sorry. If you open it.
That's very secretive.
Yeah, this one, like it's a super handmade, really thin, but super warm. It can warm you. That's what we should get for the wedding.
Yeah.
It's 37 pounds. Oh, 47.
47 pounds.
Yeah, but it's
Handmade.
handmade. Do you know why we have every entrance of the Kremlin has a bridge?
No.
So basically, many years ago, when bad people wanted to take the Kremlin and like the city, usually it was like Tatar and Tatar Mongolia. They came to the city and we could just lift the bridge.
Like a drawbridge?
Yeah, so they can't do it.
Yeah, and then
'Cause
this would be water?
Yeah, it would. Yeah. No, it wouldn't be a water. It's just like super deep, and they didn't build.
We had
the
water in
stairs.
England, so you might have picked up that this is Ksenia's city that she was born. So this is obviously pretty special for Ksenia to be back here and giving me a little tour. It's not my first time here, but the last time I was here was a very fleeting visit. We were just here just to see family. We came, we left, we barely saw any sights. So it's very nice to have a good opportunity to walk around and see things. And will you join us again as we walk through the little bridge here into the Kremlin? And this Kremlin dates back to
1221.
1221. Where?
Where what?
Who?
Yuri Dolgoruki.
Yuri.
Всеволодович.
Yeah, he was the founder of the city, and he built this Kremlin. Did I take it he built it?
No, he didn't.
Oh.
Just a few different people.
Если составишь какие-то вопросы, я с удовольствием.
Do you know the interesting thing? That Nizhny Kremlin, the only one Kremlin in Russia.
I was going to say this, that you can get into.
No,
Oh.
that was never taken by enemy.
Oh, good fact. Okay, so this was never taken by the enemy, but it's also the only Kremlin in Russia that you can actually get into. Well, maybe it's not the only one, but it's definitely Moscow you cannot, but here you can get inside the grounds and come in. And inside you're going to be greeted with lots of interesting information about the historical past of the Kremlin. There's museums in here, there's monuments, and there's shops.
There is no shops.
No shops.
We miss shops.
We miss shops.
We don't have
There's
any
a
shops.
little cafe. Looks like a shop to me, Ksenia. For those feeling a little bit adventurous, you can actually go up into this terrace area and do the whole sweeping lap, which is about 2,000 meters all the way around, which is really cool. I think again this is one of the only Kremlins that you can actually walk around that top part. Well done, Nizhny, another first. These stones on the floor, these tiles, these bricks are very common with the 1221. This is a city that's very proud of its history and its 800-year history. So anyway, we're on the other side of the Kremlin wall now, and we're going to take a little bit of a bite to eat. There's actually a really nice restaurant just around the corner here called Red Wall Restaurant, called obviously because of the red wall of the Kremlin wall. But more importantly, we're going here because Ksenia's sister Katya is the director of this restaurant, and Ksenia's sister and a small team built this restaurant literally from scratch. So this is going to be my first visit there. I'm super excited. I've actually been witnessing this project for the last 3 years as Ksenia and her team have been building it, but I've never been here because obviously we've not been in Russia for that time. So super excited to see what this is all about. One of the things that's actually really surprised me about Nizhny is just how good the food is. We've eaten in amazing places every single day, had amazing options and amazing food. So this is just one of many places that you could go. But right now I'm going to go, everything that you've seen so far is in the north side of the city. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to head down to the south side of the city, which means going on the one and only metro station that they have here in the north, and then head down into the south. And what I'm going to do is try and find where the football stadium was, because where the football stadium is, that was built for the World Cup in 2018. Because obviously Russia hosted the World Cup here in 2018. So Kiss has just disappeared for a little while. She's got some work to do. I'm going to go and try and find a footy stadium. So let's head to the metro.
Здравствуйте. Можно to journey?
Можно банковскую карту к турникету приложить банковскую карту, там дешевле.
Just with this? That? Just tap? Спасибо.
So that's very good. I was a little bit nervous. I always get nervous when I'm not with Kiss in Russia trying to buy tickets and things, but that was super easy. You just tap your credit card or your contactless card on the machine, it opens it, and it will obviously just bill you on the other end presumably. Of course, we can't compare this metro station and the facilities and things to Moscow, but it has got 2 lines. But originally the Nizhny stations were only in the south, and it opened in 1985 apparently. And then in the 90s, when the USSR collapsed, the money from the city just was not available, so they sort of closed the metro, I believe, or at least didn't pump any money into it and no one was using it. And then when they opened the station in the north in 2012, the very first station up in the north, it increased passenger rate by 75% as people were travelling to the north, which is where most things are happening in the city. So it sort of like replenished the metro system. And as I say now, there's going to be a second one opening in the north, so hopefully even more people will start to use it and become their sort of way of transporting themselves in and out of the city. So yeah, pretty good system. Okay, so this behind me is the Nizhny Novgorod arena, and it was built specifically for the FIFA World Cup in 2018. So when a World Cup comes to town, obviously there's huge investment in a massive ramp in financing and investment that goes into the city, and this is part of that. This is one of the arenas that was built in Russia for the World Cup. But this is not the only thing that happened to Nizhny. One of the other big things that happened to Nizhny because of the World Cup is the removal of the famous blue wall. So where the embankment used to be on the edge of the river that ran all the way down the edge of Nizhny, there used to be a famous or an infamous blue wall that was laid down the whole path for 13 years while they didn't have money to sort of pump into it and regenerate it. And obviously that was not very attractive and not a very nice thing for the locals. So when they removed it, it was such a big event that the locals came down and were taking parts of the blue wall home for themselves as like a memento. So now you can see the embankment goes all the way down the city, and that is again thanks to the World Cup. So this is like a little landmark of it. But this is not the only reason why I've come down to this south side. I want to show you something else. So I'm just going to go across the river. So I'm just going to go across the road here, and I want to show you somewhere a little bit special as well. I mean, tell me that's not seriously impressive. And to be honest, that's not even why we're here. We're going to go just over there where we can see those warehouses. This is just a little bonus that I've seen on the way down here. And if I'm honest, I actually don't even know what it is. Obviously it's a cathedral. If any of you know the name of this cathedral, drop a comment in the comment section because I'd like to know what that is. But that is simply stunning, look at it. Wow. And honestly, Nizhny is just full of these gorgeous little churches and things. But let's carry on, let's go to where we were going to go. Okay, so this warehouse just behind me and this warehouse just to the side of me are very famous landmarks in Nizhny Novgorod and very well liked buildings because these were the first two buildings that the river Volga, which is just on the other side of this little bit of pavement that you can see, these are the first two warehouses that housed the products and goods that were brought up from Moscow and other cities to Nizhny Novgorod. So this is like the beating heart of the city back in the day. All the products would be sorted here, distributed and sold. And now these two buildings have been turned into these really modern showcases which are used for exhibitions, even weddings. You can see a wedding just happening over my other shoulder, and just all sorts of events. So these are really cool buildings and you can see they've been really decorated well. But again, not the reason I brought you here. Let's carry on. This is the reason I brought you here. This for me is a really important landmark. So this is where the river Volga, which is that river over there, meets the river Akar, and they join here at this little point. And this point here is called the Arrow, and in Russian it's called obviously something else which I don't know the name of, but I'm sure someone can tell me. But this is called the Arrow, and this is like again a very famous landmark because of these two river joins. And now it's been created into like a playground with kids playing in the background, and obviously we have the two warehouses over my shoulder and the stadium in the other corner. But also what we can see is the northern side of the city again. This is that embankment that I was talking about a little earlier with the blue wall that just sat up against. Now it's obviously open and exposed, which is really nice, and we can see all the buildings, and even if we look closely over there, the Kremlin wall. Now it looks nice now in the day, but it looks sensational at night time. The one thing Nizhny Novgorod does really well is light things up at night. They light all this bridge up, all these buildings here. Even that telegraph pole in the background gets lit up. The Kremlin wall gets lit up in red, and it just looks absolutely stunning. So this is probably one of my favourite spots in Nizhny Novgorod. You should definitely make sure you come down here if you get a chance, and don't just stay up on the northern side. Beautiful.
As this was the Sunset City, we wanted to go and have a good viewpoint in our evening, so we went over to Fedorovskoye embankment. This is a lovely embankment that you can go and get a good view of the city, where kids can play and you can sit and have a little bite to eat. This brought us to the end of our day in Nizhny. Beautiful city, well worth a visit, even if it's just for that amazing Russian food. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, guys. I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace out.